Good morning, Jessica and Mrs. Garcia. Great day for a train ride.
Buenos días, Mr. Clementine. So nice to see you.
Yeah. And Mr. Clementine promised to teach us about conjunctions.
Conjunctions? Ah. They are very important in conveying meaning and connecting ideas.
Ah, a fellow grammarian.
Absolutely. Communicating clearly is one of the keys to success. I want the best for Jessica. Thank you so much for teaching her such important things.
It's my pleasure, Mrs. Garcia. She's a very willing learner.
Hi, Mr. Clementine. Mrs. Garcia? Hey, Jessica. I made it on time.
You sure did. Well done, Brian. You're a man of your word.
Thanks, Mr. Clementine. Hey, look at all these trains. I can't wait to ride on one.
Yeah, and we're going to learn about conjunctions, too.
Oh, yeah. So, what is a conjunction?
Well, there are actually several kinds of conjunctions, but today we'll just focus on one type, coordinating conjunctions.
Coordinating?
Yes, coordinating conjunctions, or connectives as they are sometimes called, connect words, phrases, and clauses that are of equal importance.
What do you mean, of equal importance?
That's a good question, Brian. Take a look at these train cars. Does one seem more important than the other?
No, they look pretty much the same.
Okay, let's imagine that these two cars represent words in a sentence that are of equal importance. So, let's say that one car is the word sandwich and the other is apple. In a sentence like, I want to eat a sandwich and an apple for lunch, both sandwich and apple are of equal importance. I want to eat them both. And to indicate that, I've used the coordinating conjunction and. So the coupler that connects the two cars together represents the conjunction and. Does that make sense?
Wow. It sure does. So, and? Is a coordinating conjunction that connects two words to show that they are both equally important, just like the coupler connects the two train cars.
That's right. It's an additive coordinating conjunction because it adds one element to another.
Oh, things are about to get complicated.
Now, Brian?
I know. Take it one step at a time.
Okay, this is our train.
So what are the other coordinating conjunctions?
Thank you, Jessica. You always keep us on track. Get it? On track. We're on a train.
Oh, yeah. That's funny.
Okay, well, there are several coordinating conjunctions, and the best way to remember them is with the mnemonic FANBOYS.
What's a mnemonic?
Oh, I know. A mnemonic is a clever way to remember something like a rhyme or an acronym.
Exactly. FANBOYS is like an acronym in that it's the first letter of each of the coordinating conjunctions, and it's been formed into a word that you can remember.
It's a silly word. Who ever heard of a fanboy? Is that like a boy with a fan? I could use a fan right now. It's kinda hot in here.
It is a silly word, Brian, which makes it even easier to remember. Okay, so let's look at what each letter stands for. Here, let me write it down on this piece of paper. Okay, so F stands for for, A stands for and, which we've already talked about, N stands for nor, B stands for but, O stands for or, Y stands for yet, and S stands for so.
For, and, nor, but, or, yet, so. Fanboys. I get it.
Would anyone here like coffee or tea?
No, thank you.
No, thank you.
Hey, she said, coffee or tea. Is, or, being used as a coordinating conjunction.
Yes, Jessica, that's very observant. Now, or is a little different from and because it's not additive. It's actually called disjunctive because it's presenting choices.
Correct. It's either this or that.
Oh, right. So you're not adding them up, like with the conjunction and, but you're presenting a choice.
But you and Mrs. Garcia didn't choose either one? You didn't want coffee or tea.
Very good, Brian. The other disjunctive conjunction is nor. We didn't want the coffee, nor did we want the tea.
Okay, so we've learned about and, which is additive, and or and nor, which are disjunctive. Next to, for, and so, you have causal. What's that?
Causal conjunctions are used to show cause and effect. You remember I told you that coordinating conjunctions connect words, phrases, and clauses? So far, I've shown you how words are connected. But now we really need to talk about how clauses are connected to show cause and effect.
What exactly is a clause?
May I?
Be my guest.
A clause is a group of words that contains both a subject and a predicate. There are two main types, an independent clause and a dependent clause. An independent clause shows a complete thought, like, I like to drink tea, or, I enjoy riding on a train.
So an independent clause is like a sentence?
Yes, it's a complete sentence that can stand alone.
And since we're talking about coordinating conjunctions, we're talking about connecting two independent clauses. They are two complete sentences of equal importance. Here, let me write it down to illustrate it better. So I've written two sentences here. We are riding on a train. We are going into town. Which one of the causal conjunctions would show the relationship between these two sentences?
We are riding on a train. For we are going into town.
Okay, why did you choose for?
Well, for we are going to town explains why we are riding on a train.
Very good, Brian.
Oh, I see. So, the clause, we are going into town, shows the cause of why we are riding on the train in the first place.
Yep. Say, you two are quick as a whip.
He always says that when we finally understand.
May I write a couple of sentences? It was raining. We stayed indoors.
Oh, I think I know this one. It was raining, so we stayed indoors.
Okay, why did you choose so?
Well, the clause, it was raining, shows the cause of why we stayed indoors.
Yep. By George, I think you've both got it.
Yeah, I feel smarter already. Getting kinda tired though.
Well, we only have one more type left to discuss.
The adversative conjunctions, but, and yet.
Adversative. That kind of sounds like adversary, like an enemy.
Oh, right! Like the villain in my favorite video game.
Yes, you got it. It comes from the Latin meaning to oppose or turn against. These conjunctions link clauses or ideas that oppose or contrast each other. So, let me write another example for you, and you tell me which conjunction to use. She is very talented. She lacks confidence.
Oh, that's kinda sad. I wasn't expecting you to say that.
How about, she is very talented, but she lacks confidence?
Okay, why?
Well, it's kind of like Brian just said. It's the opposite of what you thought was going to happen. Since she is very talented, you would think she would also have confidence. The conjunction, but, shows that it's not like that at all.
Wow, I didn't realize that one little word could make my mind do a backflip.
That's so true, Brian. Language is very powerful.
How about these two sentences? The weather was cold. They decided to go hiking.
How about the weather was cold, yet they decided to go hiking? It shows that even though the weather was bad, they wanted to go hiking anyway. They opposed the weather, I guess.
Very good, Brian. Yep. It shows the adversarial relationship between the weather and their desire to go hiking.
Well, Mr. Clementine, that was a wonderful lesson in coordinating conjunctions. I can see why Brian and Jessica love to learn from you.
Well, thank you, Mrs. Garcia. These two youngins are a pleasure to teach.
Hey, I think our stop is coming up.
Yeah, our stop is coming up, yet we're sad to leave the train.
Yep, that's true. There's something about a train ride.